Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll discuss about the configuration of font. Let me show you how to add font configuration and the line configuration to the font. So before we start, let me just log into the CUCM and then I'll show you the configuration of font and the line. So before doing the configuration of a font and the line, oh, just a moment. Okay, so before doing the configuration, we need to create the CSS and partition. So you must have an idea about the CSS and partition, like how we can create it and what's the use of CSS and partition. So let me show you how to create the CSS and partition, and then we will move further to add the font. So you need to go to the core routing, and then you can go to the class of control, click on calling search space. You can click on add new. Okay, so now here you just need to give the name of the CSS. So we can just give the name as local CSS. Description, we can say local. And then you can choose the partition from the available partitions. But as of now, you can see here we have only the 5 partitions. We need to choose it from there, and we can change it later on, because we need to create the partition first before creating the CSS. So let me just create the partition first. You need to go to the class of control, and then you need to click on the partition, click on add new. Here you just need to give the partition name. So let me just create the partition name as local partition. Let me save it. And let me create another one partition, which would be named as long distance partition. And let me create another one, which is named as international partition. Now we need to create the CSS. So let me go back to the class of control, calling search space. Click on add new. So now we already created the local partition, long distance partition, and the international partition. So let me just create the CSS as a local CSS first. So whenever I'm giving local CSS to any of the font, it should be able to call only local numbers, not the long distance and the international numbers. So I'm creating the local CSS. So now I'm giving the local partition to this particular CSS and save it. So after that, I need to create a new one as well, which is named as long distance. So let me create long distance CSS. And here I need, so long distance CSS, if I'm giving long distance CSS to any of the font or on the line page CSS, it should be able to call the local as well as long distance number. So I need to give them the partition named as local partition as well as the long distance partition. I don't need to give them the international PD because it will give the access of international calling, but I need to give access of long distance only. So I just give them the partitions of local as well as the long distance. And let me save it. And after that, let me create another one. So this should be international CSS. So now I need to give them all three accesses: international, local, as well as the long distance. Let me save it. Okay, so now our CSS and partitions has already been created. Let's just check it. Okay, so you can see our three CSS has already been created. So let me do the font configuration now. So you need to go to the device, click on phone. Now click on add new. Okay, so now once you click on add new, you need to choose the font type. So font type, that depends on the font. Like if you are configuring a font of Cisco 7.9 series, 6.9 series, 7.8, 8.8 series, anyone. So you need to choose that series from the list of this font type. If you are configuring the font as 7962, 7965, you can choose this one. If you are configuring a Jabber device, then you need to choose the Cisco Client Services Framework. So here I am. Let me just create as a Cisco 7965 series. Click on next. Okay. Once you click on next, it will ask whether you need to choose whether you need to use the SCCP or a SIP protocol for the phone. So let me choose it here as a SIP protocol. Then you can click on next. Okay. Now it will ask for the MAC address which you need to enter it here. So let me just add a random MAC address here. So I just add the random MAC address here. Maybe I need to use later on. Let me just save it. Okay, so MAC address is already written. So you need to say in the description it is already added the SEP with the MAC address. After that, you need to click on this drop down for the device pool. So device pool, default device pool is already showing there. So you need to choose the device pool which you created, and I'm sure you must have an idea about the device pool, like what's the use of device pool. So it contains the CUCM group address, like cluster one, cluster, like you can say the subscriber IP, subscriber one, subscriber two, and all. So in this device pool, I'm here choosing as a default one, and then you need to check the mandatory things first. So you need to check font button template is not selected. You can choose it from the drop down list. You can choose the standard 7965 as we are using standard 7965 font, and we need to choose the standard 7965 SIP. This is the font button template. And then common font profile is showing location, privacy, everything is there. Now you need to choose the owner user ID here. Owner user ID, it means it should be in the end user. So once I click on the drop down, it should show the name. So let me just click on the user 01. So it is assigned to this one. And then you can see all other things. On pocket cap, packet capture, zip profile. So now you need to check the zip profile. You can give the standard zip profile. or you can choose the SIP profile which you created. So device security profile you need to check, you need to use selected here as well, like Cisco 7 standard SIP non-secure profile or a universal device template. So you need to choose the standard SIP non-secure profile so that it will take the 5060 zip code. So after that, you don't need to do anything, I believe, except the save. And before that, there is one thing. If you are enabling the extension mobility for your organization, then you can just click on this enable extension mobility. Otherwise, you can leave it as it is. So after that, these are the configuration which is by default. You don't need to change anything. Yeah, if you want to disable speakerphone and headset, you can just choose it here. And there are other so many things here. Now you need to click on save, click on apply. Okay. Okay. Now your phone page has been already updated, which we did it already. Now you need to configure the line page, and here you can see on the font configuration page there is an option of calling search space, which we already created. We can use it here. Like if you want to give a local CSS long distance and an international CSS, you can choose it from here. So let me give this font page as a long distance CSS and let me just save it. Okay, so now Cisco 7965 series font is showing two lines. Add a new directory number, and then there are four buttons for the speed dial. So let me just add a new directory number. You need to click on the line 1 or line 2, anywhere you can choose it. Okay, now you need to give the number here which you want to use it. So let me just give a random number 3452. And then here you need to give the route partition which we created earlier. So what's the use of route partition here? So you can see route partition, it will show the default one and the partitions which we created, local, long distance, and the international partition. So let me just give the local partition here. So what's the use of this partition here on the line page? Because we already give the partition on the font configuration page where we created the CSS, where we just select the CSS, because partition is already there in the CSS. So what's the use of this route partition on the line configuration page? So this route partition, which we used it as local partition. The main purpose of this partition to use it here is, so if someone is calling this 3452 number from their phone, this partition should be added in their CSS to make a call to my number. If this local partition is not added on their CSS, they won't be able to call on my number, that is 3452. This is the main purpose of this route partition here. So after that, you can just give the description, test number, alerting name, test, you can just put it as. After that, you can choose the voicemail profile here as well, like the default one or the no voicemail. You can choose the default. And here you need to choose the auto answer, whether you need an auto answer with headset or speakerphone, or you need to do the auto answer off. So mainly for the work from home users, so you can choose the auto answer with the headset if you are in like call center environment. So otherwise you can just use the auto answer off feature. After that, you need to check these things like calling search space activation policies, whether these are showing like forward all, forward busy external, no answer external, internal. You need to choose the few things here, like for the voicemail, whether you need to forward all calls to your voicemail, then you can click on this one. You can just check this one. So all calls will be forwarded to your voicemail. If you want to choose like forward busy internal, like if you're not answering the call, that is an internal call or an external call, you can choose this one, like no answer internal, it will go to voicemail. And like if you're choosing forward all, let's just take an example of forward all, you need to choose the CSS here as well. So you can choose the local, long distance and international CSS, it depends. So what's now you need to choose the local CSS, long distance, or the international, you can choose any one. So if I use the local CSS, it will just pop it up here. And then the next thing which you need to configure is the name here for the display. Let me just take an example of test one, and then the line text label, what it will show on the phone. So let me just put the same as maybe 3452, which is my directory number, line text label, external phone number mask. So you can choose it here like uh, +1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 6 7. So let me choose the external phone number mask as +1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 6 7 9. So this, what's the use of this external phone number mask here? So whenever this 3452 number is calling to an external, like if this 3452 number is calling to some other number, that is 1 2 3 4, like 76898976 something, then it will display this as a number on the other end screen. It will display this number +1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 6 7 9. If you choose it as +1 2 3 4 5 6 7 XX, you can choose this as well. Or if you want to choose the full number, you can choose 3452 as well. If you put XXXX, it will show +1 2 3 4 5 6 7 0 0 0 0 on the called party's display, like the phone, like the call is coming from this number. After that, you need to just choose the maximum number of calls or the basic trigger, nothing else. Let me just click on save. Okay, it is showing the ad successful. MAC address is already associated. So let's just go to the device page. Okay, so we are here, you can see it is showing 3452 in local partition. So in local partition, and this is your line page, this is your device page, which we already created earlier. So let me just open this line page once again. Okay, so I forgot to use the calling search space here on the line page. So let me just give the local access to this line and let me save it. So local CSS is there. So now you can see I gave the local CSS on the line page, and on the device page I choose a CSS as long distance CSS. But this font is only one, so there is one line in that font. So who will take the precedence? Whether I'll be able to make the calls to the local only or the long distance as well from this number, that is 3452. So here is a catch. So we can say it, both the CSS on the line page as well as on the device page will work simultaneously. If you have the local CSS, if you have the local access on the line page, you will be able to make local calls. And if you are trying the long distance call from your number 3452, it will also work, because on your device page we have already given the CSS as long distance CSS, so it can make the long distance calls as well. There is only one case in which it will not check for the device page CSS, and that is the block partition, block CSS. If we choose the block CSS, like if we are blocking something on the line page, so here it will not show the block actually, because I haven't created the calling search space as block and I haven't added any of the block partition there. it will not check for the device page CSS if we block anything on the line page. In rest of the cases, it will check for the line page CSS as well as the device page CSS. Okay, so it is showing the calling surface long distance, and we have the local CSS there on the line page as well. That's it. So we have configured the phone page and the line page. So I hope you liked my video. Please let me know in the comment section. Please like and share my video with your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe the channel, and please press the bell icon so that you can receive notifications of all my upcoming videos. Thank you.